Did aliens build the pyramids? The answer is of course no. The first pyramid was constructed for King Doja between these dates. It was the first monumental and stone building ever constructed and designed. The ancient Greek historian Herodotus wrote, "It took 20 years and the labour of 100,000 men to build a pyramid." Later, it was found to be about 20,000 men. The pyramid's smooth angled sides symbolised the rays of the sun and were designed to help the king's soul ascend to heaven to join the gods, particularly the sun god Ra. The Egyptians were one of the most advanced civilisations of their time and have had an amazing cultural impact on ancient and modern civilisations today, spanning topics including language, mathematics and architecture. So today I'm going to go through a list of 7 amazing Egyptian inventions that are still used today. And of course I know what you're thinking, Jamie, you done a top list last week. You're such a sellout. And you're right, I am such a sellout. That's why this video today is sponsored by Raid Shadow. Number 1, eye makeup. The Egyptians invented eye makeup as far back as 4000 BC. They combined soot with a lead mineral called galena to create black ointment known as kohl. They also made green eye makeup by combining malachite with galena to tint the ointment. For Egyptians, makeup was not just limited to women. Status and appearance went hand in hand, and as far as the upper class was concerned, the more makeup the better. Makeup allowed people to appear more attractive and show off their wealth. They also believed that applying a thick coating of the stuff could cure various eye diseases and also keep them from falling victim to evil eye. What's more, that the Egyptians even created perfumes from different plants and flowers, as well as deodorant produced from things like incense and porridge. So if you are enjoying the content, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel grow. I'm going to be winged like an Egyptian because it makes me look pretty and more wealthy. On to number 2. Number 2, paper and ink. Although the invention of writing did predate the Egyptians, and paper was of course a Chinese invention in around 140 BC, the Egyptians did have their own form using papyrus and inks. It was not paper as we know it today, but a precursor called papyrus, named after the grassy reeds that grew along the Nile, from which the material was made. After the sheets were made, they were often combined into scrolls, which were then filled with everything from religious texts to literature and even music. The Egyptians also created their own ink to write with by combining different natural substances such as copper, iron, quartz and malachite, and are able to produce ink in a variety of colours, although black, red and blue were the most common. Ancient Egyptians kept the papyrus making a closely guarded secret so they could trade it throughout the regions and increase its value. Because the process was never documented, it was ultimately lost until Dr. Hassan Ragab found a way to make papyrus sheets in 1965. Number 3, the calendar. In ancient Egypt, the calendar could mean the difference between feast and famine. Without a calendar, the ancient Egyptians wouldn't know when the Nile would flood. Without that knowledge, their entire agricultural system would be put at risk. The River Nile flooded every year between June and September in a season the Egyptians called Akhet, the inundation. Because their civil calendar was so closely tied to farming, the Egyptians had 3 seasons: inundation, growing and harvest. Each season had 4 months, with each month being divided up to 30 days, but this only makes it 360 days a year, which is not the 365 we use today. To make up for these 5 days, the Egyptians added them between harvest and inundation seasons, and these 5 days were designed as religious holidays set aside to honour the children of the gods. I do look beautiful. Number 4, mints and toothpaste. During the Egyptian bread making process, the stones they used to grind the flour contributed a lot of sand and grit into the bread, which wore down the tooth enamel to expose the pulp of the tooth, making it more vulnerable to infection. Abscesses plagued the ancient Egyptians, and toothpaste became one of the most prominent Egyptian inventions to prevent them from those who could afford it. Egyptian toothpaste was made by grinding and mixing a variety of salt, dried flowers, pepper, ashes and even eggshells. The abrasive paste was then rubbed in using either a finger or a primitive form of a toothbrush, and although this served surprisingly well in cleaning the teeth, the toothpaste may have done more harm than good, as its gritty texture resulted in bleeding gums. The discovery of the Egyptian toothpaste was presented in a 2003 dental conference in Vienna, where some dentists sampled the toothpaste. One said, "It was painful on my gums and made them bleed as well, but that's not a bad thing, and afterward my mouth felt fresh and clean." For those who succumbed to dental decay in Egypt, they came up with another invention, which was breath mints. To disguise the acrid smell of rotting teeth, ancient Egyptians sucked on drops made of boiled honey and flavoured with fragrant herbs and spices, such as cinnamon, myrrh and frankincense. They also added mint to their toothpaste, a practice which is still common today in dental products. Number 5. Police. With the expansion of urban living and centralised power came the emergence of an organised law enforcement, as the first ever police force was founded in ancient Egypt. It was initially introduced around 2500 BC to patrol and regulate the ships and boats travelling on the Nile. The police force protected the boats from thieves and ensured that a trade continued to prosper. By 1500 BC, the Egyptians had developed an elite paramilitary police force known as the medjay. The term medjay was originally used to describe the people from Nubia who were the first policemen. The medjay were charged with protecting the pharaoh's most valuable areas and possessions, including his capital city, the borderlands, and the palace. Unlike the modern force, the medjay were not responsible for any investigative or detective work. Their job was purely to preserve the order and stability of the regime by punishing the lawbreakers. Number 6. Locks. If you didn't have a private police force to guard your possessions, there was another solution: locks. Although undoubtedly less complex than modern keys, the ancient Egyptian tumbler lock represents a significant shift in the history of engineering. The earliest such device, created around 4000 BC, basically was a pin tumbler lock in which a hollowed out bolt in the door was connected to the pins that could be manipulated by insertion of a key. When the key pushed upward on the pins, they slipped away from the bolt shaft, allowing it to be withdrawn. Early examples of these were large, sometimes 2 feet long, and were made out of wood. As with the furniture and cosmetics invented during the Egyptian age, these locks were not common. They are most often used to protect the rooms and possessions of the wealthy, and have even been found inside the Great Pyramids that served as the tombs of the Egyptian rulers. Amazing, amazing, amazing. Number 7. Barbers. Due to the sweltering heat, the Egyptians considered hair unhygienic, so regularly cut their hair short and shaved it off. For much of their history, being clean-shaven was considered fashionable, and stubbly became the mark of poor social status. That's good then, because I can't grow a beard, so I'd look wealthy in the Egyptian times with my winged eyes and no beard. To that end, the Egyptians invented what may have been the first shaving implements, a set of sharp stone blades set in wooden handles, and later replaced those with copper-bladed razors. They also invented the barbering profession. Oddly though, they also retained a fascination for facial hair, or at least the appearance of having some. The Egyptians took hair and sheep's wool and fashioned them into wigs and fake beard, which even more oddly was sometimes worn by Egyptian queens as well as the Egyptian kings. The fake beards had various shapes that indicate the social status and dignity of their wearer. Ordinary citizens wore small fake beards around 2 inches long, while kings wore their phony whiskers to extravagant lengths and had them trimmed by scray at the end. And Egyptians' gods had even more luxurious long beards, which were turned up at the tip. So there's the conclusion of our 7 amazing inventions the Egyptians left for us. I hope you've all learnt something today. I definitely have, with my amazing eyeliner making people more attractive. It's already made me about 10 times more attractive, but that is extremely difficult because I'm already a solid 10 out of 10. So next time you go to a party, get your double winged eyeliner on and you'll be the talk of the town. I'm going to head off to my model shoot now because I look absolutely gorgeous. I hope you've all learned something today and I hope you've all enjoyed the video. Remember to like it if you haven't already and subscribe if you haven't. And so I hope you all enjoy your day, enjoy the rest of your week. Peace out, I'll see you all next time in my model shoot. Remember to check out GQ Weekly for me on page 3. See you all next time, peace. Number 6, locks. If you didn't... Blimey. Amazing. Have I done this right? Have I created a new trend? 2 wings instead of 1? I look fantastic.